Welcome to January 2022. This is Miss Jenny, and I am your astrologer. You are on the channel, in case it looks a little weird right now, of Primal Girl Wellness and Down to Earth Astrology. So, my friends, we are doing things just a little bit differently this month. I'm going to try and keep it brief, but mostly you're not going to see me in the frame because I don't know about you, darlings, but I'm a little tired of looking at myself. A little tired of talking to myself, definitely tired of looking at myself. You know how that goes. All right, so if I sound really excited and happy this morning because it's January, it's all a ruse. It's all a ruse, my friend, a masquerade. This is actually, I don't know, panic, chaos, anxiety, uh, unmanaged depression. No. I'm literally just kidding right now about most of this. So here's what we got on tap, my friends. We've got quite the month. Now we're going to break it down for you. So the first thing I just want to say before we get into the actual planetary aspects, because I think it's important that we kind of get in touch with how this impacts us personally rather than the giant data dump, is if during this month, at the beginning of the month or moving through the month, you find yourself experiencing any of the following things. Upset stomach, insomnia more than usual, weird dreams, feelings of general debilitation or fatigue, not being quite able to get your thoughts together, irritability, tension, lots of tension, and or just a feeling of being all sixes and nines, kind of at odds with yourself. It's not your imagination. You aren't, well, I mean, you might be going crazy. We're all going crazy right now. But it's not your imagination, and some of this really does have its roots in some planetary aspects happening right now. Specifically, my friends, Mercury, which will, as I'm sure many of you astrology fans out there are aware, is going to go retrograde this month. Now, what's important about this particular Mercury retrograde is that it will be, Mercury is moving into the sign of Aquarius, and about the time it gets to 10 degrees on the 15th, so these first 2 weeks of January, we are really feeling it. On the 15th, give or take a day, when we get to 10 degrees Aquarius, Mercury will have come to a standstill and proceed to start going backwards. Now, in and of itself, this is not a remarkable thing. This happens all the time. Nothing new here. Mercury goes retrograde a couple times a year, yada, yada, yada. Nothing to panic about, Chicken Little. The sky is not falling. However, the reason for all this kind of energy, like cats hanging off a screen door sort of energy, is because while it does this, Mercury is not only making a fast approach to Saturn as it's approaching its station. When it does make its station, it will be within 2 or 3 degrees of an exact conjunction with Saturn, which is the same thing as it's conjuncting almost exactly. We're feeling it. And most importantly, that Mercury-Saturn conjunction at the time of the station will be squaring Uranus. Oh, yay, they said. So here's why this particular Mercury station retrograde is going to be a little bit more nerve-wracking than the usual ones. I know you wanted to hear that. There's ways to deal with this. We're going to get to that in a second. So Mercury and Uranus both rule the mental processes and the nervous system. Mercury is the lower octave or the lesser octave, and Uranus is the higher octave because Uranus is an outer planet. Now remember, with outer planets, we generally don't see them being active so much because there's a certain level of transcendence or big picture outer world sort of stuff that has to be active. And when we try to take that much voltage and bring it down to, you know, a little teeny tiny household socket, right? So imagine that the Mercury and Uranus both represent power and voltage and electricity, right? So Mercury is your household electricity for your appliances that runs to your house with little sockets that you plug into. Uranus are those big freaking power lines outside your house on the giant poles on the sides of roads that literally could kill people and cars and large animals and, you know, things like that. Like literally could knock a cow across a field if you got hit with it. So Uranus is that energy. And when we try to take that type of energy and bring it down to mundane things, like the Mercury level, right, household electricity, it causes problems because it's too much for such a small space to work in, right? The vehicle is trying to travel and it's not suitable for the wattage it's bringing. So this is kind of where we're at as Mercury and Saturn come to conjunction with the station, retrograde, and squares Uranus. So what I'm telling you, my friends, is one, if you're having trouble sleeping, you have upset stomach, you're not feeling well, like all sorts of like, oh my God, what the hell's going on? Like something's not right. It's not your imagination. You're picking up the vibes, right? You're feeling it, that other shoe about to drop sort of thing. The other is for everyone, watch these dates. Absolutely watch the dates. So we want to give ourselves about 3 or 4 days before the station and a couple of days after, because this is a huge, huge, mega square we're dealing with here. So I would start as early as Tuesday or Wednesday, the 11th or 12th of January. I would keep an eye on and be a little extra cautious, and go all the way down to the 17th, about 2 days after that station. So look for the potential for major, major happenings around this time, and let's keep ourselves out of the line of, unfortunate circumstance or wrong place, wrong time sort of situations. Coffee. Now, with Mercury and Saturn together in Aquarius, some things to keep in mind. Mercury makes its station, so things are coming to a grinding halt. Saturn is the planet of obstruction. Boy, if you wanted to, meet that brick wall at 60 miles an hour, that's Saturn. Saturn is the brick wall. And Aquarius is a fixed sign. So Aquarius, if you've ever known an Aquarian, you know they can be the most stubborn, obstinate, immovable. Ooh, they can make Tauruses look really flexible and generous in their compromise. So with Mercury and Uranus together, Mercury and Saturn together in the sign of Taurus, as Mercury makes a station, we can expect things to come to a grinding halt around this time. So don't plan ahead and, make sure you've got contingency plans set in place and you're prepared for the possibility of things that should be moving in your life, not moving at all for a couple of days. This also, now please don't go out and, stockpile gasoline and toilet paper. It's not going to be that bad. But definitely if you've got things that you need to make sure that they are moving around this time and that you don't find yourself short of and unable to get to, this is the time to plan ahead. So for those of you with children, as an example, make sure you've got plenty of diapers and baby food and stuff around the house so that you don't run out if things come to a standstill for whatever reason involving that, like maybe your car breaks down or something. I don't know. For those of you who are making travel plans around this time, well, good luck with that. Just saying, there are better times to travel. So if you can reschedule that now and save yourself a lot of additional expense for last minute rescheduling, that would be good too. But, as always, take your own advisement, not mine. So you know best. The other thing is the Mercury-Saturn conjunct in Aquarius as Mercury stations retrograde, and it's squaring Uranus, which is in... Wait, didn't we just talk about this? Yes, Taurus. Uranus is being squared while it's in the sign of stubbornness and things not moving, Taurus. So I would expect a major blockage or standstill, like literally things coming to a screeching, freaking halt. Lots of frustration, lots of things that should be moving that suddenly are not occurring around this time. It does not have to be catastrophic. We don't know. We'll see how it plays out in various parts of the globe. And for different people. But for now, if you have things that you need to keep moving, plan ahead and make sure that you've got contingency plans in case something happens that interrupts the flow of activity around this needed event, circumstance, situation, item, thing. Okay? Whew, I'm telling you, man. And if you're feeling it now, it's not your imagination. This is what you're feeling. And this may be the other shoe we feel like it's about to drop. Also, just as a sidebar, for those of you who are involved in communications or negotiations with the people, nothing's going to happen this week. Between the 12th and the 17th, I guarantee you nothing's going to move forward. So don't make yourself crazy if you can avoid it. And again, reschedule or important things for other dates, or be prepared for settling in and squatting and, waiting this out until things move. Like that cow in the road that won't get out of your way. Now, as we get close to the 18th, things will break up and move again. So it's not forever, it's temporary, but boy, oh boy, oh boy, is it going to make you want to pull your hair out. Because on the 18th, Uranus will be stationing direct. Now remember, we feel outer planets stationing long before we do the inner planets. So we're feeling Uranus station all month long as well. So while this Mercury station is happening, Retrograde, we're also feeling Uranus station direct. So there's a lot of intense buildup of energy around this week, the 12th to 17th. So once you get past that Uranus station direct, a lot of things should break up and start moving forward again. And maybe in all sorts of jingly, jangly, chaotic, uncoordinated ways, but they'll be moving. They will be moving. So take that for what that is. Also, too, there is the possibility of machinery breakdown, major issues with large machinery breakdown and systems and networks being compromised or breaking down. So weak spots are going to be exposed for sure. And also there may be more than a few events occurring that are absolutely fated and out of our control. So there's no way to avoid that. So for those of you who work in in areas with high voltage power and or large machinery and or in places where the machinery is not being taken care of well because your employers are monsters. Be aware of that and take extra precautions. Make sure you know where all the safety exits are and that all the safety things are in place. And this might even be a good time to revisit safety drills with your supervisors. Take no chances during this week if you can, because while we can't avoid everything, we can certainly mitigate or reduce the amount of impact something has on us if it's not something we want. So I'm not saying this to panic you. I'm trying to give you some stuff to work with here so that we're in control of at least something. Okay? Now, la 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 la. Okay, Jupiter, our friend Jupiter, has entered Pisces. Oh yay, oh yay, oh yay. Jupiter has entered the building. Now, it is nowhere near Neptune yet, but it is back in Pisces. So at this time, some of the things that we can expect, especially with these Mercury movements, right? Well, maybe not Mercury so much. Oh, also I forgot to mention Venus is in retrograde. So there's that. We're going to talk about that in a second as well. So with Jupiter and Pisces, this does tend to lend itself to the thinning of the veil. So I know there's a lot of people who are talking about escapism and drugs and overdoses and poisons and alcohol and, ganja and, you name it. If it'll get you out of your head and out of your body or, out of reality, like people are on board with that. So again, here's what I have to say, and that's that I don't know that this is going to be any more prevalent than it has been the last 3 years. We've had some really tough stuff happening these last 3 years of the pandemic, and there are a whole lot of people who have hit their limits. So I don't know that anything's huge. Now, Jupiter is a healing planet, and it is a planet of karma. So Jupiter brings you what you've earned. So does Saturn, but people don't talk about Jupiter that much like that. So typically these strokes of luck and good things that happen to you and all these bounties that you get in this lifetime that you don't seem to have to work harder than other people for, or, in most cases, people think that they're actually working harder, so they deserve it more. But the reality is you're not working any harder than the person next to you. In many ways, you just got what appears to be lucky, right? Good fortune smiled upon you. It is because you're Jupiter. In previous lifetimes, you've done something of merit that has earned you that reward in this lifetime. So Jupiter brings you also what you deserve and what you've earned from other lifetimes, if you believe in that. It's the karma planet, as Saturn is as well. So with Jupiter entering Pisces, the thinning of the veil between worlds has become thinner. The veil between worlds has become thinner. And also we can expect a lot of blessings and strokes of luck and good fortune to hit based on what we have earned in previous lifetimes. So keep your head up and be optimistic that there are good things coming, and you'll be showered and blessed with all sorts of small, lovely, beautiful, loving things from the universe for all the good deeds that you've done in the past. If you're not seeing lots and lots of small blessings around you and miracles and little like happy strokes of luck, I would suggest two things. One, either take off your ingratitude glasses and look again, because oftentimes if we don't see it, it's because we're not looking with a sense of gratitude. It's right there. Don't be an ingrate, because that will definitely prevent you from seeing your blessings. The other is that if that's not the case, if you take your ingratitude glasses off and you're looking around with gratitude and you're still not seeing anything, well, then maybe this will be a good lifetime to start working on being a better person, because you clearly didn't do a great job in the last one. Just saying. Sometimes when you don't live up to your highest version of yourself. You don't necessarily get punished for it because you didn't necessarily do anything bad. But in cases like this, what you also don't get are blessings and good fortune because you didn't do anything good either. So the price for cowardice is just more of the same and just a whole lot of nothing. Just a whole lot of nothing. Oh my gosh. Okay, so there's that. All right, now Mercury is moving fast this month, fast. So Mercury is dipping into Aquarius very early, around the 3rd. It will go retrograde and wreak all kinds of havoc for all of us between the 12th and 17th. When it gets down to the 26th, Mercury will have backed up into Capricorn. Now, because the fun just never stops around here. While this is happening, Mars will also have entered Capricorn. At the time that Mercury retrogrades back into the sign of Capricorn, reverses into Capricorn, it will be very close to Pluto. So we're going to be feeling this Mercury-Pluto conjunction right up into the beginning of February. So these last few days, like 4 or 5 days, the 26th through the 31st of February, again, being a hot spot, right? Because Mars is in Capricorn as well. So at this time, one of the things that we can look for is some very important communications or decisions being made at the end of the month. So watch your leadership at home, at work, and nationally to see what's going on with them and what they suddenly decide and pronounce to the world is this is what we're going to do. Now, the thing about it is Mercury is retrograde, and we know that decisions made under Mercury retrograde typically go through revision before they move forward. So this may not stick in its original form. However, Mars is in Capricorn. Mars loves being in Capricorn. Mars is the sign of leadership. And Mars in Capricorn, while this Mercury-Pluto conjunction is going on, means that this is an executive decision. This is a decision someone has made for all of us because they think that they know best. Unfortunately, Venus is retrograde in Capricorn at the same time. So we got all this Capricorn, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Pluto. Whew. And Venus is retrograde, which means that it's not going to be very popular or very well supported, which may be why there's revision to this later. Now, the good news, my friends, the good news is that whatever this pronouncement or decision, executive decision is made at home, at work, or nationally, by the time we get to the 29th, Venus will station direct. You've got all these stations this month, right? So Venus will station direct on the 29th, which will kind of turn the table a little bit. So whatever they initially cooked up around the 26th, 27th, 28th, after the 29th, going into the beginning of February, they will probably, I would almost bet you, change their mind, reverse course, and make some adjustments to their original plans. Now, for those of you who are looking for things, looking for love, looking for jobs, looking for your sanity, I personally am looking for my sense of humor. We will have a better time finding it after Mercury re-enters Capricorn. So things that are very, very well hidden or buried and unavailable to us may get unearthed around this time. Also, too, with Venus stationing direct at the same time, and Mars in Capricorn, because Capricorn rules antiques and old things, right? I would be really surprised. If something did not come up that has to do with history or archaeology or some type of old artifact. So there should be something very important that occurs around this time involving ancient history and ancient artifacts. Maybe, we'll see. It will be interesting, and it will certainly be very positive, and it'll be very groundbreaking if it happens. So there is that. Now, the last thing I want to leave you with here, and then we're going to finish up this video, is Capricorn also rules business. Pluto rules big business. All this Capricorn and Pluto involvement at the end of this month is not happy. It is not happy. Because again, we're talking about people in positions of power making executive decisions for the rest of us. So family, work, nationally, people at the top making decisions because they think they know best. Or, they think that, anyway, who knows what they're thinking, but that's what's happening. So with all of this, coffee. One of the things I would also look for is towards the end of the month, I would look for a shift. You can feel it, this shift happening towards a more dominating type of management of everyone underneath them or management of groups. So the whatever happened between 12th and 18th may be what triggered this, this more, I hate to use the word authoritarian because it's so triggering, and it's associated with all sorts of, right-wing crap right now. But this whole top-down leadership, like in excess, I'm king, god, emperor, you are my subject, that kind of thinking, will definitely be in force and very, very visible at the end of the month. So be prepared to have to stand up and fight the powers that be if they're moving directions you're not comfortable with, or they're making decisions without you and without your input. So there's that. And I say that because these are cardinal signs. Cardinal signs take charge and move forward, but that they are cardinal, they're not fixed. So the weeks before, the 12th to the 18th, we had all that fixed energy. Nobody was moving nowhere. Right? It's kind of like those worker strikes, right? Where the workers are outside striking, they refuse to go in and work, and people running the company are like, you need to get back in here, we're going to bring people in, but they can't get scabs to come in and work, so they won't cross the picket line. So everything comes to a grinding halt until somebody says or does something, right? And of course, nothing moves for a long time because both people being very stubborn, because each one wants to hang on to their power. Anyway, it's that kind of a feeling where it's like, Urgh! So that may be what precipitates this end of the month executive decision. But that's it. That's what we're doing. That's how we're going to do it. And that's just it, which will be premature and have to be revised by the time we get to the beginning of February. So we'll see. We'll see. But certainly business and economics and commerce, and also the government, because Capricorn rules the government, right? These things are definitely things to keep an eye on at the end of the month. All right, now let's take a look at the lunations, my friends, my little pretties, and then we'll be done for the month. All right, so we are starting the month with a new moon at 12 Capricorn. Hey, doggy, 12 Capricorn. Now, it's not, believe it or not, it's not a bad moon. So it's a little tricky, but it's not bad. So the new moon at 12th Capricorn will be trining Uranus, which is adding to this like amped up, overworked, high-strung, nervous energy that you may or may not be feeling. It will also, here's the good news, right? It will also lend itself to flashes of insight. So if you're having dreams or ideas or these sudden inspirations, make sure you write them down. You'll lose them as quickly as you got them, but there's real gold in there, in that inspiration or that dream. So that new moon trine Uranus is going to bring sudden flashes of insight and awareness and sudden spotlights on things, sudden exposure, right? So things will erupt into awareness, visibility, or consciousness around this new moon that will expose things and really give you a chance to see what couldn't be seen before, right? And may not be seen afterwards if you don't pay attention. So watch for it. Now, as we get down to the 9th, which is not that far behind it, we have the quarter moon at 19 Aries. Now, the quarter moon at 19 Aries, this is the 9th. The quarter moon at 19 Aries is a little less friendly. That's a little less friendly because it is going to be squaring Venus and Capricorn. So we've got a Sun-Venus conjunction squaring the moon. The moon. It's not quite close enough to pull in Pluto, so I wouldn't use that. However, here's what we got. With the sun squaring the, with the Sun-Venus conjunction squaring the moon, people are not feeling as generous or loving or sensitive or forgiving. Like they're just hard asses at this time. It is a great time for pushing forward and making things happen. Boy, if you need to find your guts, right, find your spine and like jump up and do something, this quarter moon will give it to you. It will give it to you. The push and the drive to get stuff done will be there. So if you needed to clean the house, just start a project, get rid of something, whatever it is you've been hemming and hawing and I don't know, that kind of whiny sound, right? Like a little toy car that won't start up. This quarter moon will around the 9th will definitely give you the push to break through and get that started. So any tough projects you have or things you've been avoiding, this is the time to sit down and look at it, because if you need the impetus, you're going to have it right now. For other things that require a little more patience and delicacy, like, I don't know, diplomacy, international negotiations, asking for a raise. Well, maybe not asking for a raise, but you know what I mean. These things, the quarter moon may not be the best time for that. Unless, like, it's with romance, it's a little bit different. With romance, this is a great time if you like your romance hot, fiery, and peppery, and you like that whole me, Tarzan, you, Jane sort of roar, Who are those actors? my God, I can't remember. The old-time actors, John Wayne and Hepburn, Katharine Hepburn. Like it's a very John Wayne, Katharine Hepburn kind of quarter moon. I'll see if I can find the movie that those two are in. It's really funny. But that's the kind of like thing that we're getting with this quarter moon. On the 17th, as we get down here, now things are getting colorful. Ooh, wee, doggy, now things are getting colorful. Listen, I really want you guys to get a highlighter or a red pen and mark these dates. So we've got a full moon at 27 Cancer on the 17th. Now remember, Mercury, we said, is going to go retrograde on the 15th, right? So Mercury's going to go retrograde just like literally a day or two before that. At the same time, we also have Uranus stationing direct on the 20th, right? Whew. So, I know, right? And of course, Mercury is stationing squaring that Uranus. Oh, yeah. And we got that full moon packed right between them this week and I give yourself an extra couple days around this, between the 11th or 12th and the 17th or 8th. Well, now we know the full moon on the 18th. Hang on a second. On the 19th, the 12th and the 19th, circle those dates and give yourself plenty of forewarned is forearmed kind of insurance, right? So expect things to come to a screeching halt unexpectedly. So make sure if it's urgent, you need things to flow or you need it on the ready, you've got it planned and prepared for ahead of time. Try not to travel during this time. Be very careful and aware of your surroundings at this time and understand this is a very, very, very high energy, high fraud. Week full of conflicts, frustrations, and obstacles, and a whole lot of fickle finger of fate at play. So be very mindful. Be very mindful. It's going to be a tough week. Tough week. And that's all I'm going to give you about that because I don't want to alarm anyone. And honestly, like we'd have to be here a while to sort this out, to try and figure out what it is. And again, we're talking about the entire freaking planet. So we can't make a single prediction about an event happening here when it could be multiple things happening everywhere, right? Also, too, what's important about this particular full moon, just so you know, this full moon will be opposing Pluto, my friend. So it will be a Sun-Pluto conjunction opposing the moon, creating oh my God, just a really difficult full moon. Oh my God. Anyway, watch those weeks and understand that this is just going to be hell week for everybody. So plan ahead and plan accordingly. All right, now, which brings us to the final lunation of the month. Thank God we've reached the end of the month. Are we still here? Are we there yet? On the 25th, we will have a quarter moon at 5 Scorpio. Now, this quarter moon at 5 Scorpio is actually good. Sort of, maybe, depending on how you look at it, right? So this this quarter moon at 5 Scorpio is going to set up a T-square to Uranus. So again, and remember, this is what, the 25th. So we're heading into the last week of the month when I said that executive decisions by people in positions of authority that manage or oversee groups, whether it's in a home, at work, or on a national level, they're going to make some executive decisions that are not going to be popular and are need to be revised by the time we get to February. So this quarter moon is happening then. Now, this quarter moon is a T-square with Uranus? No, the moon. Hang on, I'm thinking, Jesus. Oh God, old age kids, don't do it. It's a trap. Yes, it's a T-square and it is Scorpio Taurus. Sorry. The moon and Uranus are in opposition and the sun. Yeah, see, this is leadership. These are people in positions of authority. The sun is at the leg of this T-square. So we may see things in terms of the directions we're heading in and the people in positions of authority and what they're people who need to be held accountable for their leadership really having their feet put to the fire at this time, and or even possibly having some unexpected, unkind things exposed. All those dirty little secrets exposed, my friends. So don't be surprised if around this quarter moon, which is the 25th, somebody doesn't get caught with their drawers hanging out, their pants down, in the metaphorical sense, of course. In either event, what we're definitely looking at is things being exposed and brought to the light and, you know, on public display that were never intended to be. So somebody's going to get caught with their, excuse my language, their ass hanging out. And that will be interesting. That may be where all this impulsive, you know, executive decision or is coming from in the days immediately following it. Because, you know, people as a general rule are lazy. People in a panic are stupid. So panic people will make stupid decisions up to and including making executive decisions that should not have been made, or certainly not offered in the way that they were. Now, here's what's good. And so don't laugh, because it could be you. It could be you. It has something you thought nobody's ever going to find out about suddenly being exposed. So I'm just saying, I'm just saying, watch your own backyard that week around that quarter moon. Okay. So here's the good parts about this quarter moon at the end of the month, because there's got to be something good in here somewhere. So the first thing is this quarter moon is going to set up a beautiful, beautiful trine to Jupiter. So things that happen at this time are actually a blessing in disguise, or a blessing not in disguise, but certainly a blessing and an opportunity for us to heal and move past some things. So as awful as something might be, don't dismiss it yet. There's something really positive and important that comes from this later. You just can't see it right now because of the inconvenience or embarrassment. The other thing that this quarter moon is going to do is going to set up beautiful sextiles to Mars and Capricorn. So it will make it much easier for information to come through straight and clear and true. And so we'll have a better sense of what we're dealing with and what decisions we need to make as we go through this. The other thing is that at the time of this quarter moon, remember, Venus goes direct, baby, on the 30th. So Venus will finally go direct. People will be a lot less sensitive and a lot less hyper irritable and a lot less quick to take offense over things that was never meant to be offensive, you know, and a lot less easily, I'm trying to find the best way to describe it. So you know how the thing about poking the bear, like people who just poke the bear, they're really trying to get a reaction out of them. People are going to be a lot less easily poked. So prior to now, this whole month, everybody's been a little alarmingly sensitive for a lot of really good reasons. But as we get closer to the end of the month and when Venus finally goes direct, we will come out of that really unpleasant, hypersensitive, insecure feeling and sense of dread, right? Because Venus is in Capricorn. Capricorn's all about fear. And we'll be moving into a much more sure-footed, confident approach to the world and understanding what's happening around us. So we're moving into, and we're going to need to after all weeks before this, a much more secure, confident, mature, wise place by the time we get down to this quarter moon. That quarter moon and this Venus station director are going to help with that. So this is what we have for the month of January. It is quite the month, my friends, quite the month, but nothing like March. Oh, this is a good way to get to March. And these are the ways that we're going to navigate this. Forewarned is forearmed. You know this is coming, right? Mark your calendar so you can keep an eye on those dates. And as with all things, if you meditate, now's a good time to meditate more. And if you don't meditate, this is a great time to start. The other thing that I would say that will help move some of this energy around so you're not overloaded, like literally trying to plug in a high voltage power line into the electric socket in your house, is physical activity, believe it or not, physical activity. So some type of physical activity that helps discharge this energy is great. I don't necessarily, now here's the key though, I do not necessarily recommend a high impact activity. So for those of you who do MMA, jiu-jitsu, you know, cardio kickboxing, you know, high impact wrestling, like parkour, whatever those high impact or potentially high impact activities are, that's not recommended this month, especially during that week between the 12th and 19th, because the chances of injuries are higher and more severe at this time. So don't do it. Save the practicing juggling of flaming chainsaws while you're riding a unicycle for another month. However, things that are more fluid are certainly recommended. So things like bar, if you do the ballet exercises, bar is very good. Pilates is very good. Dancing, I highly recommend. Dancing is going to be a phenomenal activity to discharge some of this energy so that you're not crazy, right? And what else? I would say yoga, maybe not. Yoga's a little bit too slow for this, not quite enough contraction and resistance, right? So some CrossFit exercises I would think will be okay, others not so much. So flipping giant tire trucks would be a great way to off gas some of this energy. You know, high speed clean and jerks and deadlifts and all this sort of stuff, maybe not so much. I'm telling you, the risk of injury this month is much higher and much more intense. So I would really advise against these types of exercises and activities. So, and you know what you're doing. So this is a really good time to be honest with yourself and ask yourself, is it worth hurting myself in a way that will debilitate me for the rest of my life? Maybe I can find something else to do for the month. Yeah. So I'm just saying, honey, I'm just saying. Okay. And what else? I think we've covered everything. If you take supplements, and I cannot advise you to do this because I'm not a doctor, I'm not your doctor, and I don't know anything about your medical condition, but I can tell you that Uranus and Mercury being the higher octave of the nervous system, or both lower and higher octave of the nervous system, we're all going to have very overworked nervous systems all month long. So I know that the B vitamins are very important for your nervous system, and they get burned up much more quickly when you're under stress. So you might want to check yourself to see if a good B complex would be helpful right now. Also, too, magnesium is really good for your nervous system. They call it a muscle relaxer for a reason, and a colon relaxer and everything else. And I'm pretty sure, I have to double check, but I'm pretty sure magnesium comes under the auspices of Uranus as a cell salt. Well, maybe not a cell salt, but certainly a salt. Anyway, magnesium sulfate, also known as Epsom salt, would be very, very good to get a little bit more of in your daily routines this week to help get some of this overworked nervous system repaired and under control. If you are interested and you take magnesium supplements, just so you guys know, apparently there's like 5 different types of magnesium supplements that you can take. There's magnesium glycinate, magnesium citrate, magnesium taurate, magnesium this, magnesium that, magnesium hootie ha. Oh my God. And I would just want to point out, if you decide you're going to take magnesium supplements, if you look it up, you decide this is what you want to do, be aware that magnesium citrate, citrate, is a specific form of magnesium that is a colon relaxer. That will make you poo. So if you're not constipated, I would not recommend magnesium citrate as your supplement. So definitely double check the magnesium type that you're getting and using, and understand that specifically magnesium citrate is a laxative. So that's, unless you're constipated, that's not the form of magnesium you're looking for as a supplement. I'm just saying. All right. That's it, my friends. So, good. Well, see, I try to keep it short. You know how it goes. Golly day. All right. So, have a great January. It's going to be quite the thrill ride this month. Pins and needles hanging on the edge of our seat, waiting for the shoe to drop. But it doesn't have to be bad. We can turn this into an exciting, dynamic, dramatic month for ourselves and use that energy to our benefit. But you have to be on top of it. You have to participate, and you have to use the energy. Just remember, accidents and injuries are more likely and pronounced and more serious or severe this month than at other months. So please reduce your participation or exposure to high-risk environments or activities. If you're at work in a high-risk environment, even if you're not, make sure that this month you know where your safety exits are, that you know that there's a safety plan. Like, figure out what those things are and review them. And if nobody's done it in a while, make your supervisor do it now, not later. This is a great time to be prepared like a Boy Scout. We'll be selling the cookies later like Girl Scouts. But until then, be a Boy Scout. Okay, that's it. You guys have a great January. We'll see you next month. And if you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, share. Absolutely send me feedback in the comment section if you have something you want to add, or if you have some kind of feeling about the way we did the format this month. All right, we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.